Hey, it's Terry Bean coming at you with another fun and exciting episode of Business Growth Time. Today, we're going to be talking about with Mike O'Neill, who joined us on show 1 3 years and 3 months ago. We're going to talk about LinkedIn. It's going to be an advanced session. We're going to hit LinkedIn Sales Navigator and a couple other advanced tools. So if you're a LinkedIn user, you're going to love it. If you're not a LinkedIn user, you're going to learn a lot, but you're probably going to be confused too. Before we formally introduce Mike, I have to introduce the one, the only, the lovely, the talented, the fantastical Facebook advertising queen, Janet E. Johnson, where today the E is going to stand for energetic.
Woo! All right, woo! Just kidding.
It's more of a Mike word, but it's not Mike E. O'Neill. So I just want to set the expectation.
It's going to be
last time
high energy no matter what, right?
High energy show, baby.
Exactly. Awesome. Well, thank you for that. Wonderful. You had a lot of adjectives in there.
This has been, you know what? I've been listening to a lot of our past shows. I started listening to a bunch of different podcasts, and I'm like, we have like 105 of these. Maybe I should listen to a few of these for a change. And we actually have a bunch of good information. So Ernie, our little audience, Ernie, if you haven't been digging into the archives, you should. There's good stuff.
Absolutely. You can go back a long ways, and I know we do have a lot of great content. Speaking of that, our guest today was number 1 on our show. Number 1, yes, number 1. So welcome back, Mike. It's fun to have you back after over 3 years. Isn't that crazy?
Oh, thanks, Janet. Thanks, Terry. Terry is in Detroit, and I met Terry in person many, many years ago, and we already felt like then that we knew each other so well.
That's right. Revenue awesome. North, baby. The good times. So, and you guys are both, how far away are you in the Twin Cities now?
Only about 20 minutes, really.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think when I met you, Mike, when I met you online originally, I think you were out of Denver at the time and ended up moving to the Twin Cities.
Yeah, I just got back from Denver. So I did a LinkedIn workshop in Denver 5 weeks ago. I came back and did a workshop, more of an advanced presentation for Janet's group. And then the next day went back to Denver and did a presentation the next evening, and then was back last Friday doing a 3/4 day Sales Navigator workshop.
Nice.
So I have friends that I stay with there too. So at least this last time I had 7 days with no hotel cost. You just go in the fridge, get stuff. You've got my Mountain Dew from the last trip was still there.
That's
awesome. My gosh! Oh, that's funny. Well, let's get if you've never heard of Mike O'Neill before, he is the LinkedIn rock star. So I want to make sure that we introduce you properly. I don't have the bio in front, so tell us a little bit about your background, because you're the LinkedIn rock star. That's just a given, but tell us a little more about what you're doing now.
Well, actually, I'm a techie. Okay. If you look around here, I got every connector and cable and little thing that you could find. I just got a little new this, and I got a new microphone for speaking from the stage, Sennheiser mic and stuff. But I was always kind of I read Popular Mechanics when I was a kid, so that kind of gets me ready to be an engineer. You know what I mean by that, right? There's all these things that aren't quite there.
That's still around, by the way.
Good question.
Rocket, but I went into engineering school, and in engineering school, I was in school. I go out an IBM PC when I was in school, a real IBM single floppy, 64K PC with a MX80 dot matrix printer. And in order to hook that printer up, I had to open up the cover and put a card in and set some switches and do some programming and stuff. And it turned out that process of buying that printer got me my first job.
Interesting.
They didn't give a hoot what kind of career or degree I had coming out of college, as long as I could go inside an IBM PC and work inside of one. And this is 1983.
Wow. You're aging yourself, but that's okay.
1983. Janet was in the 6th grade.
Yeah, I just turned 58, and there's a lot of old timers like me in management positions now. So it's kind of, these little camaraderie things help me establish rapport with people.
Sure.
So to LinkedIn just for a little bit and come back, I always look and see what jobs they had in their early career. What was your first job? It's fun to talk about your first job, either in love or hate, right? I mean,
Sure.
I was an engineer, so if I hadn't gotten a computer job out of college, I would have been doing time studies. Have you heard of what a time study is? How long does it take to move the mouse from here and set it here? Let's measure that.
Oh, got it.
Officially, how long it takes to move that from here to there. That's your first job out of college. My first job out of college was going to the Tropicana Hotel to install 3270 terminal emulator cards in IBM PCs so they could download data from the casino and make decisions. I did that in my first 2 weeks on the job. They don't send it just something happened, right? If I'd have bought an Osborne or some other computer, wouldn't have gotten the job, wouldn't have been doing stuff like that. So I was always kind of a little bit ahead of time. So that was early, but my job was installing computer stuff.
Okay, that's very interesting.
Going to trade shows.
Going to LinkedIn then. So what was the transformation over to teaching LinkedIn?
As we forward through time here, the internet bubble happened, and I was in the middle of the dead center of that internet bubble when it just burst. Our company's stock was selling for 19 cents a share. We're about to be delisted. If someone would even buy us cheap, we'd just be selling ourselves cheap. And they just let pretty much everybody go. Left a few people that leave the lights on and stuff, but the U.S. operations of the employer I was working for were shut down. So and at the end there, what I started doing was little networking events. We'd meet down at a bar by my house. Okay, a nice one. Highlands Ranch, Earl's in Highlands Ranch. And, there were plenty of other unemployed telecom people that joined me. It wasn't too hard to find drinking buddies back then, but the purpose at this time, I still had a job and many others didn't, was we were trying to find leads to hold on to our jobs a little long. So you got hardware people and software people and programmers, folks from all aspects of technology, though, getting together. And then folks did end up, McLeod was hiring because ICG was firing, that kind of stuff. But then I lost my job, and here I am conducting these meetings, and I got no job. I'm not looking for leads, telecom leads anymore. So I kind of thought I'd just kind of see what I could do, and I started a business from it. That was 2003.
Okay.
2000. I know that's right when LinkedIn came along. Here, watch Marco Rubio.
Say that again.
Marco Rubio, see that?
Oh.
or how about Donald Trump?
Oh my gosh.
See, this is why you have to watch the podcast and not listen to the podcast, people. Yeah. It's video is a powerful tool.
Yeah, the listening version.
The word energetic.
So when did you actually get on LinkedIn, Mike O'Neill? Because I know, like you said, LinkedIn didn't actually happen until 2003 when it became public. So I know the date I was on LinkedIn.
Yep.
Do you know the date?
Yeah, January 14th, 2004.
Nice.
And I show people, it's kind of fun because when I coach and consult with people, they go, I've been on LinkedIn for 20 years. They just throw the stuff around, and I get access to their account. Okay, when I coach folks, they fill out an onboarding questionnaire that has their login information. I go in and I tune a bunch of stuff up. It's part of the package that they get when they get a coaching program from me. So I don't just tell them what they got to go do and they go run with it. I just actually do some of the things. If you don't need to know what it is, I'll just set the default the other way, and you'll never know what happened, and you get more business. But in doing that, I get to find out when they joined. Mm-hmm. And I just always share it with them. It's always 10 years later than they thought. But, in the Twitter world, there's a utility out there that will tell you your first 5 tweets from when you started.
Oh, that's
somewhere
cool.
out there. I saw it.
I was on Twitter before LinkedIn, I believe. Weren't we all?
Could be.
No. Some
No.
people were for sure.
For some, not for me, but it could be for many.
Okay. Yeah. 'Cause
Sure.
Twitter was, I think, the first one for me.
I was on
Wouldn't
LinkedIn
you
three
like
and
to
a half
know-
years before Twitter, right? And I got on Twitter before there were 1 million people on Twitter. So I was on Twitter super early and on LinkedIn way before that.
Got it. And what about MySpace? Come on.
I was on MySpace late. I was on Facebook before I got on MySpace.
Really? Oh,
Yeah.
I was on MySpace first.
I was on MySpace early on too. I thought that was going to be the big deal.
So did I. I thought Facebook was dumb. I know. It's crazy.
Well, it was at the time, right?
True.
But because of all the LinkedIn groups I was in, and at the time, there was a period in late 2006 where LinkedIn was screwing things up left and right. They were changing policies for the 48th time, and people were like, we're done with this crap. There's this thing called Facebook. They just opened up, and it was literally the day that Facebook allowed gray hairs and no hairs to be on their software that a bunch of folks jumped ship and started accounts over there, but it didn't really take hold. And that was November of 2006. So
I remember that because the word came out that the gray hairs like us, and I was partners with Lori Ruff at the time. And Lori Ruff had a .edu address. So
she was in
for Facebook. And so she got early wind of it that, Mike, hey, open it up. So like, I don't know if it was to the day or so, but it was to the week that I got in because I got my name, and all the common names, not Mike O'Neill's not that common, but, boy, in 3 weeks it would have been gone. I got my name. So,
yeah, that's cool. Well, let's talk
Janet E.
about
Johnson has
LinkedIn
Janet E.
Sales
Johnson.
Navigator. You just spoke recently at one of my events that I run in the Twin Cities, and people were just blown away with some of the stuff that you taught, some of those aspects of Sales Navigator that we talked about this 3 years ago, and Sales Navigator had been out how long, and now I want to revisit it.
Yeah, so, when Sales Navigator came out, originally 4 years ago, it did very little more than what LinkedIn.com Premium did. Okay. And what they did a year and a half ago is they took a bunch of features out of LinkedIn.com Base and Premium, just stripped them out, put a cute little user interface that looks like the iPhone on it, and then added some of those features over to Sales Navigator, and the other features were already there. Okay, so some added, just took them out, and now if you wanted to do certain things, and they're pretty important. I'll go through those here. We got time here. The only way to do that is to go over there. There's just no other way around it. Okay, and so like what I think your audience would like to know, what are the features that are only in Sales Navigator, and why are they important? Why would I need Sales Navigator? What feature is it? What's the gotcha that's going to get me to go spend $80 a month for the premium version? So let's kind of go down that list a little bit. Yeah. But it was really terrible what they did a year and a half ago because Sales Navigator is a different user interface, and it causes people to have to learn two versions of LinkedIn, and going back and forth between the two is really complicated. It didn't need to be. They could have made a more advanced version of LinkedIn, even in the advanced version out there, and just added some more features to it, instead of creating a whole new user interface where it's on the left over here, it's on the right over here, is it over here? They just could have done a much better job.
LinkedIn Recruiter is a totally separate one from Navigator and the regular LinkedIn platform too. Is that right?
That's right.
So they
but with Recruiter, there's special workflows and stuff there. Okay, there's special things. These 5 or 8 people are going to interview these candidates, and they log in about it. I mean, it's a CRM system specifically for it. There's a reason it's $500, $600, $700, $800 more a month. Okay. Sales Navigator doesn't add any workflows. It just adds features, and that's different. They could have added the features that they needed or kept the features they had over in LinkedIn.com and made it easier for everybody, including all the programming they got to do. I mean, think about it. They got 2 whole full-on things they got to program now. And they could have just added a Sales Navigator add-on to LinkedIn.com and still charged $80 for it. But they didn't, okay? But they didn't. So what to take out of that there is, if I'm going to implement Sales Navigator, I got to learn another whole program. It's like learning Excel if all you know is Word. Okay? You know a lot of things about it. File open, you know, there's some things that are similar, right? You know, but most of it is not. Okay? So here's the features that matter the most to people. If you need to get granular on job titles, like current title, past or current, if you need to get fancy, anything other than a current job title, LinkedIn only shows the current job title now. They showed past and current until recently.
Oh,
They just recently stripped out past, so now they only show the current. So here's the question, and I don't have the answer to it. If I have 3 jobs, do I have 3 current jobs, and do I possibly show up 3 times? The answer, I believe, is yes. How does it know which job, you know, matters, right? How does it know? So you get into some funny things in searches and stuff with Sales Navigator, like you always did with LinkedIn and stuff, because one of the reasons is people have multiple jobs, and it could be the first job that catches in the search, and then the second, and you've got not commands in here and stuff. So you just don't know exactly how people are getting caught in searches until you go to their profile, and then you can figure it out. Any one of the 3 of us here, and anyone who's skilled here, could figure, oh, I see it. Yeah, we're looking for those words. There's the word. I get it now. All right. But when you're doing that, you start seeing people you don't want to see. You start seeing, oh, it's an assistant. I don't want assistants. Well, then we add not assistant. And before long, these searches have all kinds of words in them, and they get better and better, and the false people start falling out. So that's the first one, job titles. And it's really tricky. Some of the trickiest work I do with folks is determining whether some words go in the job title field down here or in the keyword field out here. They dance together. You know, words could be in one or the other. If you say assistant up here in the keyword, that'll find assistant anywhere. And they could have been the assistant to Jimmy Carter, you know, in the early days, in a job in law school, and they'd get excluded for that if you put it up here but not down here because of that sort of current stuff. So there's one. If you need to get granular on location searches, where someone is matters, right? Just think about dating, right? I'll think about dating, all right? How far of a drive on Match.com, you say, how far away would someone be from you, right? How far are you willing to drive for a date? So, Terry, how far would you be willing to, I know you're married, all right, I know this is hypothetical, but how far would someone be willing to drive for a date?
47 million miles at this point. No, I'm just kidding. Totally kidding. Love you, honey. Not that she's ever listened to this show.
Yeah.
You know what?
My husband.
You're right. Ever. Like 20, I'd probably drive 25, 30 miles, although I've driven further depending on who it was, right? But if it's a first date, maybe 45 miles, but we would have had to have some kind of report.
That's pushing it.
Yeah. But you would need Sales Navigator to be able to pull that off. You see, in LinkedIn, you would just be able to say Detroit. Doesn't matter where in Detroit.
That's right.
Detroit.
Yeah, in the old days, remember, you used to be able to just sort people by their number of connections and their location, and you could really, that's why if you were on early, it was easy.
And frankly, that's how I was able to get to 30,000 connections faster than other people, is I mastered those things. Okay, yeah. We knew those things at the time. So like I'm speaking in Atlanta this month for the American Association of Inside Sales Professionals, AAISP in Atlanta. I got an hour program on a two-day deal there. So I go to Atlanta. I do a search in Atlanta now. Okay. There's a couple of different ways to do this, and I'm looking for business leaders. Okay. So up here I have sales or marketing, and the ors and ands are always in all caps. And when I say up here, that means when I'm saying up here, what field am I pointing to?
Search.
The search bar, right?
The search bar up there at the top. Yep. So and then down over here, if we're like on an advanced search field down here, you've got job titles and other things down here. So I've got 700 people in Atlanta that I'm going to be sending a message to that says, guess what? I'm coming to town. I'm speaking at this conference. Here's a $50 off coupon. You use this link over here to get the $50 off. I might even say, I'll buy you.
You wouldn't get that. Let me ask you a question backing up. You wouldn't be able to get that information if you didn't have Sales Navigator. Is that?
Well, I'm going to get to it a little more granular here.
Okay.
Okay. Yes, you could. You could invite everyone in the city.
Okay.
And you could do exactly what I was talking about right there. But what I did is I decided, you know what, that city's kind of far. I did what we just talked about. Well, they're willing to drive so far. So I put a zip code in and I put like 25 miles.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly what I did around it. 25 or 35 were the two brackets that seemed to work. Okay. As opposed to anywhere in the city.
Right, because you could be 4 hours to drive from one side of Atlanta to the other. Not only is it big, the traffic's brutal.
Yep. So you got to think a little bit. And I had to go back and forth a little bit. And I have not launched that yet. Okay. I've just done the planning for it.
But hold on, you're only going to invite them to the event. You're not going to try and reach out and schedule like a course, because
Like really?
Yeah, come on now. Well, silly Terry Bean, silly.
Well, I'm not going to set up any sort of public event or something. I just left the next day for meetings. Okay. So, I leave at like 7 p.m. the next evening, and I'm there all day the next day. And I just put in my little note, hey, I'm staying an extra day if you'd like to meet up. Or if you come to the event, we can meet in the hallway. I like meeting in the lobby bar, stuff like that. So, but the point, what we started with here, this conversation, part of it was about location. Okay. So the other big location option, so you get the zip code option with Sales Navigator. You don't get it anymore with LinkedIn, no matter how much you pay LinkedIn.
Got it.
The other one that matters a lot that you get with Sales Navigator is state. You can filter by state. Okay. And, in certain states, it doesn't matter so much. California's too big. Texas is too big. New York is too big. Okay. But other than that, the rest of the states, if you're doing a concerted effort to reach out on LinkedIn using something like our campaign system, okay, we do campaigns where you systematically log in and you invite so many people so fast and go to the next industry and then the next industry. It's extremely systematic, and you can crank it up to get more. If you get busy, crank it down, slow it down a little bit, right? It's best to do those campaigns by state. I'm doing Minnesota, then I'm going to do Iowa, then I'm going to do Wisconsin, then I'm going to do Kansas. It works really well. The amount of people and the just think about like a rock band that is on tour. Okay? Bands on tour, they're not jumping all around and stuff. They're doing Minnesota. They're touring the state of Minnesota, and then they'll tour the state of Iowa. Think about it that way, because I'm a LinkedIn rock star. I think about it that way, right there.
Mm-hmm.
That's it, baby. Why else would you think about it any other way? Nobody wants to go from Minnesota to Florida to California to New York.
Yeah, who wants to do that? Only guys with their own planes can do that.
That's right.
Right, that's a plane deal. Okay, so, but it doesn't work well in this situation for California. You can't group all of California together.
Hmm.
So I always take extra time with my clients to map out something special for California. And there's not time here, except it's a combinations of cities and zip codes and stuff like that, because LA has got to be split up. And San Francisco, you got North and South Bay and things like that. So and Dallas is sort of similar way. You got Austin, Houston. I do San Antonio separate, and then Dallas is just huge. So the other things that are out there in LinkedIn.com that really matter, that they're missing from LinkedIn.com that really matter, the size of the company. You treat a person who's an owner of a company that's got one employee differently than if you're talking to a guy who's got 10,000 employees. You'll never reach that guy who's got 10,000 employees, right? But the reason for this is that people at a big company aren't spending their own money. They're spending the company's money. When they're buying your product, it's not coming out of their personal Wells Fargo account over here. When you're calling on an owner of a small company or a one-person company, especially, it makes no difference whether it's business or personal. That expense comes out of the same account for the most part, philosophically. So people have a different opinion about things and want to hear a different story when it's their own money than when it's someone else's money. And the conversation goes a lot differently with a company that's got 10 or 20 sales reps for me, because I train sales reps, than if they got 1 or 2 guys. Okay. And that filter called company headcount now, it used to be called company size, only in Sales Navigator.
Right, gone. I'm looking at the search criteria in mine, and I don't have the premium version anymore. But yeah, it was what, 18 months ago or so when LinkedIn changed the search and they, I said for years, if Facebook understood search the way LinkedIn understands search, LinkedIn wouldn't exist, right? Facebook would have just blown it out of the water. But there's since shortly after the Microsoft takeover, they've revamped quite a bit of stuff, and this is one that I don't think they improved. Maybe they improved it for LinkedIn Sales Navigator customers.
That's right.
They did not improve it for the average Joe. So
there's a few more of these, okay, and I'll just discuss a couple more that are kind of nice, and then we'll just kind of talk about SNAV, okay? SNAV. Let me hear y'all say it. SNAV. I don't want to hear how it sounds.
SNAV.
Oh, that's messy. Now, Terry does it better. Terry does it better. That Vincent Price kind of SNAV.
Got to have a little sass to it.
All right. So here's one that we use a lot, and this filter is called seniority level. Okay. So you're generally going to use either seniority level or you're going to use job titles. Generally not going to use both. They kind of overlap, and you could get some weird results when you have 2 filters that cover the same territory. Okay. So, but there's no way with the seniority to get just the CEOs. It's a CXO box that you check. So if you're really only go to the top of the company, you've got to use job titles. No way around it. And you're going to be using a lot of words. Okay. It's going to get bigger and bigger and bigger over time. But the seniority level, if you can take people that are, one level below, I mean, it starts at CXO, and then it also has owner and partner. These are check boxes. I'll take check. I check all the way down here to either manager or senior, kind of depending down here. And then you get into entry level people, rank and file sort of folks down below, but you can kind of pick it. LinkedIn knows a lot about big data, and I think they do a pretty good job of understanding job titles and stuff. I mean, I think they probably know more about that than, well, as much about that as the folks at Indeed or Monster or anywhere. They know that knowledge is way up in the clouds. How much they know about that.
That's right. They know so much that Google trusts them in search results for people. Yeah. Right? So if you do a search in Google for your name, it's likely that one of the first responses is going to be your LinkedIn profile.
That's right. Exactly right. Yep. So in where it gets difficult, okay, this is an advanced course. So I'm going to cover the difficult advanced topics here, all right, is when people have more than one job. Okay. I'm a sales rep at Sprint, and I'm the owner of Bob's Chocolates, and all I do is I sell chocolate bars at work. Okay, and it's on my LinkedIn profile, and I'm showing up as president, and that creates quite a bit of issue. And this company size combined with that, that's where the art comes into play to try to alleviate false positives, so we're not asking people to meet for a cup of coffee that are still in high school because they're the president of the junior league there, president of their class. So that's where it gets really artsy. We generally use 5, 6, 7 data fields. Okay, sometimes and the job title field has got like, whoa, way out here. It's an art, and you got to kind of keep looking and looking. And within this Boolean stuff that we talked about, remember our ands and ors and stuff. You got to mess around with the order of the words and try different things, because there's plenty of little bugs in the LinkedIn Boolean that you need to map around. And I'm not going to get deep into it here, but the not commands and the ors and the ands and the brackets and the quotes, move them around and find the one that has your best results. Your best results isn't always the one with the most results. You might find the one with the most results has all these assistants and students in it and stuff like that. It's the best results. And I look at page 1, I look at page 2, and then I jump to page 10 and see how it looks back there. So often we just look at the first page and scroll up and, oh yeah, I get it. Oh, do you know how stacked the deck is on page 1 of anything, right?
That's right.
I mean, how carefully calculated is that page? Go back 5, 10 pages. There's essentially in Sales Navigator 40 pages of search results. 40 pages. And you got to keep going out to the right and out to the right. It keeps pushing out a little bit, a little bit. You can't just jump to page 40. It'll take you 2 minutes to get to page 40 if you wanted to get to page 40.
And is it still showing 10 results on a page? Is that the same?
It shows 1 through 10, and then you go to 10, and then it shows 10 through 15, and then you go to 15, it shows 15 through 20.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It like inches forward, like an inch worth out there. So I'll just say, just go to 10, okay? I know where to stop, spending more time, okay? Just go to page 10, all right? Now, the reason you get 40 pages is because there's 25 per page, and you can see 1,000 search results. The same number of search results as you can see in LinkedIn, but in LinkedIn, you only get 10 per page, okay? You get 25 per page in Sales Navigator, only 10 per page in LinkedIn. So you can accomplish more, don't you think? I mean, bigger bite,
Sure.
So, and when you're looking at results in Sales Navigator, you've got a bunch of options. There's menu options to tag them or save them as leads, do all kinds of things, You're just looking at a bunch of search results. You can just click message or connect in LinkedIn. So you start to see where that is. So in the last part here, I'd like to talk about where the lead generation stuff comes from. So that was search. Can we go over that? Because there's a bunch of great lead stuff. Here we go again. Is it going to be Donald Trump? Yes, it was Donald Trump. Okay, you folks on video,
watch the video.
Okay, so when you're in Sales Navigator,
Janet, you're holding that cup totally wrong, by the way. There you go. And now I want something to drink. Damn it.
There's what? It's got to be room temperature, right? It's got to be room temperature.
That's right.
It can't be too cold. That's what they say. All right. So wherever you are in LinkedIn Sales Navigator, it seems like there's a way to find more people like the folks I'm looking at now. Okay. So if I can find the best possible people, I can look off to the right or look to the top or look to the left or look to some link around me. Well, there's always a place to find more folks just like this one. And with all those searches that we could do, all those results we had and all the criteria, we can find some really good people and then find more people like them. So if you're looking at someone's profile, over on the right-hand side of their profile are people that viewers also viewed. You've seen that on the right-hand side? It says people also viewed.
Yep.
There's a way to shut that off on LinkedIn.com so that you don't show it. It's the settings, okay? And I suggest everyone in your audience go into settings and shut this off. It's in the middle it's under privacy and settings, and it says people also viewed, and disable it, okay? So that'll help some folks, but that won't help you with those smart Sales Navigator folks because
Why do you say
shut
that?
it off in Sales Navigator.
Because I tell people all the time to use that to find more people that they're looking for. So why do you tell people to shut it off? Because I don't want to
shut it off so they can't see it on your profile, so they can't see people like Terry. They don't see alternatives to Terry.
Yeah, right. You're the only one.
Other people. See?
That's right. That's good. So just, hey, don't tell anybody else, Ernie. Just do it for yourself. I got
it.
Yep. People won't be able to milk your network as well either, in some ways with some of these things I'm talking about.
I can see what you're saying. Yeah, Terry, I just got somebody yesterday that said, I see your friends at Terry's.
I want a guy with hair, so they hire me, so they see me on the right-hand side of your profile, right? No, we got to have hair here. We got shiny lights above his head. Is going to be distracting.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, it is too. No, still not. Still there.
Yeah, got to use the soft lights. All right. So if I'm looking at a profile, for example, on the right, I can see people similar in Sales Navigator all the time. No one can shut that off. Okay. In LinkedIn.com, it might be there, it might not be, whether they know about this or not. But in Sales Navigator, it's always there. Okay. If I'm looking at your profile and you're at a regular company, let's talk about folks that are regular company people. Okay. We all kind of work in our homes and stuff, and we don't have big staffs. We don't go down to the meeting room down there. We don't have to log out the conference room, and our company holiday parties don't have hundreds of people in live bands. The kind of companies that do, okay, Let's talk about traditional companies that have hundreds and thousands of employees. If I'm looking at an executive at the company, I'm going to see other executives just like that person, either on the top with the current version of LinkedIn of Sales Navigator, or in the new redesign that's on the right-hand side. But you can see other people at the same level at the same company when you're looking at someone's profile. So I may just have found a vice president there, but he's the vice president of legal affairs, and I don't really deal with them. So if I'm looking at the vice president of legal affairs, I'll see the vice president of other affairs up here, and I'll find the one that's better for me than the one that I got. It's a quick way to trade out the guy you got for one that's better, to upgrade your person. You can save them as leads, and you can invite them and tag them, do all kinds of stuff, because you're in Sales Navigator. You can do all kinds of stuff over there. If I'm looking at a profile, at a list of people, so let's say I did a search on something, I found a list of people. So now I got 25, right? 25 on a page. There's a little button that says View Similar right there. View similar person to anyone here. It's not the same thing because that similar is at other companies now. First thing I told you was people at the same company. Maybe I can find a better contact for me at the same company. In the second scenario where we've got a list of people, it just says View Similar. And the word View Similar appears for companies, if you're looking at lists of companies, or if you're looking for lists of people. Are you alive, Terry? You have moved your head.
I am. Yeah, I'm not frozen.
Wow. So you're looking at the screen, seeing this, probably going, yeah, I see that there. Aha. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm checking you out. I'm making sure you're telling people the truth. Man. I gotta keep you honest, Mike O'Neill.
That's right.
Rock stars, man. That's it.
So you just poke around. Yeah, thank you for that. I got 770 watts and plenty of vinyl right over here.
Beautiful. We should have some background accompaniment music,
I would put on. So time for a little fun check. All right. So a couple months ago now, went to the Steve Winwood concert.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Oh my God. You ever get a chance to see Steve when you got here? It's as analog as it gets. The Hammond B3 organ with the little spinning little wheel back there. It's just amazing. So, there's a social media tie to this. Okay. He recorded one of his concerts live, and he's selling that concert you just saw in the back of the room with t-shirts live on vinyl, almost the same exact show. Nice. 2 or 3 songs per side, 4 discs for $35. So think about it. If you wanted to like, oh, I love that concert. Well, here for $35, you can take it with you. It's just like when they do back-of-room sales at social media events, right? Here's the CD or the DVD or whatever, that kind of thing.
That's right.
I can play it. It's so clean and so clear at full volume with all of these speakers, 770 watts. And it's just crystal clear. There's no overdoing it. So anyway, come on back to that.
The low spark of high-heeled boys, baby.
There, 15-minute version.
Nice.
And I met the band. They autographed the record. I met Steve Winwood's daughter, and she kissed me on the cheek. I got a picture of her kissing me on the cheek. She was the warm-up band.
So cool.
So
he was in the 80s, wasn't he? See, we always talk about the 80s, but he was also probably even prior to that.
He was in the 60s, 70s, 80s,
yep. 70s,
evidently still.
Yep.
Right?
And when he picks up that guitar.
Now I got that Higher Love song in my head going.
There you go.
He plays it. For Higher Love, he plays it on a mandolin. So cool. And the people that go to shows like that are so cool. Almost as cool as folks as go to a Crosby, Stills, and Nash show. Those are the coolest people on earth.
Or sit around and do podcasts about LinkedIn Sales Navigator, right? I mean, it's really in the same kind of same group, really.
Okay. Well, it's the things I described there. When you find somebody good, a really good one, okay, or even not a suspect, we could even say, the first step in Sales Navigator is you save them as a lead. Okay, I'm going to put them on in my little bucket over here, and I'm going to go back later and do some more stuff with them. But I'm just going to save them as a lead for now. Okay, and you can have 1,500 saved leads in Sales Navigator.
Okay.
And I got to 1,450, and I had to rethink my plan. My plan was not working right. So now I only save as leads people I really seriously care about. I need the workspace. And some of my clients that I do work for, I'm on an active station here. It's a walking desk. And this client, they're a client of mine. And for them, we've got some different strategies where we're using save as leads, the lead list as a workspace. We're not permanently keeping anyone there. It's like a desktop. It's like random access memory. Okay, it's just a workspace. Okay, it's not a storage system. But we're using tags otherwise.
Oh, I miss tags. Remember tags in LinkedIn?
I was waiting for you, Terry. Yes, they were free even.
Suck those out too. I just had that conversation the other day. I was doing a training. Somebody asked about it. And I'm like, I haven't seen those in about 18 months. There's a theme here.
Yeah, they didn't work very well for quite a while in Sales Navigator, and they're working pretty good right now. So we're moving some operations that we do outside of LinkedIn and Google Docs and Sheets back in to tags now. I don't trust LinkedIn that much, but operationally the tag system is really great. And here's why. There are automation tools, okay, and we'll close with the automation tools and stuff that will essentially like a drill versus a screwdriver. Drill it, and they don't know any different, right? Look at that. Tomorrow I could still be doing this if it wasn't me. But as me, I can only do that for so long. And these tools, two of them that I like a lot are LinMail Pro and Duck Soup. Will let you essentially automate that process of sending stuff. And they do it quite a bit different. I mean,
for those of you listening, Mike's doing like a disco on the screens.
He's staying alive, baby. That's all he wants to do.
Staying alive. There you go. Staying alive.
All right.
Oh, that's awesome.
Right. I was dancing recently. I did take the lead dancing. But the combination of all the fancy stuff you get there with an automation tool is really trick, because you can get really granular on the folks you're going to do something with, and then the tool can do that for you. And the tools, though, are really risky in a lot of ways. The riskiest part about them is you misconfigure the tool and you shoot yourself in the foot. Okay? Self-inflicted something. Okay? You sent too many, you got shut down, you got caught. You're not supposed to use automation tools. Okay, just in a broad sense, you're not supposed to use them. I'm not going to get deep into it, but if they sense you're using an automation tool, stuff can happen to you on LinkedIn, and you get a warning the first time, those sorts of things. But best practice on this is actually to have a dedicated machine to do that sort of stuff. Okay, and I'm buying 3 computers this next week, used Windows 10 laptops, just to do my automation work. Because the hardest part is getting it all set up. This has got to be just right and that, and all, and once you get it all set up, if you're going to just go do something else, you're going to mess that up. You can't be doing your automation work while you're using your computer. It steps on things. Windows pop up. You're typing something here, and you just typed it into that message it was sending over there. Had that happen, somebody goes, "What is this stuff? What are these words?" And I look at the words. I go, "Yeah, I had to retype those in. I was typing an email and went right off into a LinkedIn message."
That's awesome.
And when you work your way, when you get into doing these things, you got to start kind of small, 40, 50, and work your way on up and stuff. So the combination of those things, here's my big advice for your group. Find a $150 laptop, a Windows 10 laptop, $100 laptop, but recycle an old one. It does not have to be fast, but it should be secure. Okay. I mean, it shouldn't be one that the kids have been clicking on too much stuff on, and someone's monitoring the computer. It's best if it's a ground up install. I'm buying 3 laptops that are having a brand new operating system put on them, so they're totally clean. I have my dad's old laptop over here that I prototyped this process on with the client. And so, but it should be worth $150 to set up something like that. And there are certain tools that you got to install into the Chrome browser plugin and all this kind of stuff. And then I won't say it's quite set it and forget it. You want to visit it perhaps, each day, or you want to kick off a process. One of the tools will automatically, you say Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8 o'clock, and it'll kick it off Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 8 o'clock. Nice. And I like that tool with a dedicated machine. Without a dedicated machine, that's duck soup. It doesn't work well to do things where you got to pick up again tomorrow where you left off. Here's what happens. These lists change order. If you have your 1,000 results today and you go back to that same 1,000 result list tomorrow, people are not on the same pages in the same order. So when you're doing these campaign things, try to keep it within a day or two's worth of work. Instead of 1,000 results that we just chuck away at, it's better to load up a couple hundred and then a couple hundred and then a couple hundred. So you get to the end of the list so you don't have people moving from, I sent you a message, and now from page one, now you move to another page over here. I'm going to send you another message because you moved from page 1 to page 2, and now you're going to get the message, I'm sending page 2 today, and you moved on me. Like kids in high school change chairs, right? But those little things, that's the level of engineering we're talking about. This is an advanced class, right? We promised folks they were going to learn some stuff they weren't going to learn elsewhere. When you see weird stuff happen from day to day, because people move around, even from hour to hour. If Terry adds 10 connections and I delete 10 connections, we might switch spots in a search somewhere. And Terry got the message and I didn't, now we switch spots. So I'm going to get 2 messages and he's going to get none, or vice versa.
Wow, that's wild.
See?
What are they doing now? I know years back they put a cap on the 30,000 connections. Yeah. So are you at that number? Are you close to that?
I hit that in 2009, Terry.
Okay, so you've been at it for a long time. So do you have to delete people and replace them?
Yeah, it takes 30 to 40 seconds per person to delete. So you got to find some certain amount of time. First of all, you got to find a list of people you want to delete.
Right. Yes.
And I've deleted 15,000 people already, so it's kind of getting a little hard,
Wow.
I'm still on the list. Yes.
Still on the list, yeah. I mean, I have friends that are in real estate, but generally I don't work in real estate. So I'm poking through real estate, deleting people. Mm-hmm. For example, real estate just doesn't play with it. I got to go somewhere where I can find lots of people, hundreds, thousands of people, so I can systematically do my 30 or 40 second thing. Otherwise, it's minutes per person. I don't have that time. I got a lot of people waiting right now. I'm at 29.99 something there.
That's wild.
So anyway, so those things that we described, those advanced search tools and advanced view other stuff, save people as leads and then go add tags to them after you can look at them better. There's the summary of all that. Save them as a lead to get them into your atmosphere, to separate them out, and then go back later and analyze your leads and figure out what you're going to do with leads and whether you're going to add a tag to them or what you're going to do. That'll save a lot of time, Terry, as opposed to trying to figure out tagging at the time and strategies on the fly. Save them as a lead and go back once a week or so and go through your saved leads.
So this is probably where we should have started. Who should be using LinkedIn Sales Navigator as opposed to who should be using just the regular LinkedIn.com?
If you have a revenue sort of role, a number, if the company makes more money, you make more money, or your job's more secure, or you've got to report a number, you got to be using Sales Navigator. That's it. And the reason is first of all, there's a team version. So if you're on a bigger team or so, there's a version of LinkedIn that will actually do some network sharing across folks, kind of like a CRM system. It's called the Team Edition. There's even mind-boggling editions above and beyond that. So, but if you're operating in a team environment with more than one sales rep in a team, actually more than maybe 5 or 10, you want to look at the team version out there. Okay. The one thing to remember is at some point in time, the data in your LinkedIn, the data in your Sales Navigator will be gone because you'll stop paying for it. You won't need it. You'll miss a payment, something, who knows what, you retire. you're not always going to have Sales Navigator. So whatever you have over there in your inbox and your leads and all, it's all going to be gone someday.
Can you save it different in a different spot, or does it live in LinkedIn, right? I know like you can export your connections if you spend the time to figure out how to export your connections. It's hard to find, but it's doable. I got a video on it for those that want it. Yep. But can you do that with Sales Navigator, or like you said, gone is gone?
Gone is gone.
Gone is gone. Brutal. And how much is it a month on a monthly basis?
It's $80 a month.
Okay. And I think you said that earlier. I just want to make sure.
So a company needs to have a policy that says, now we're talking companies, not onesie, twosie people, not coaches and stuff, but real companies, folks that out there. I'm not belittling us at all, but, sure. These are folks that, have hundreds or thousands of employees. Those
real companies, not like fake companies. Like
exactly.
Folks have real CRM. Yeah. What you do is you have to have a policy that says when some certain piece of information shows up in LinkedIn and it's important, it's got to be put into the CRM system. It hits some level of it had some level of specificity or some numbers or a commitment or something. There's something that triggers it says that LinkedIn message got to go into the CRM, and it's got to be a corporate policy about that. Wow. And it's got to be trained in and people know it. That's the workaround. It's called Control-C, Control-V.
Yes, copy, paste.
For our audience, that would be copy and paste.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
This was really fun. I enjoy
this so was a lot of great information, Mike. I think that there could be a lot of people listening that just, they're like, you know what, I do need this, but I don't know that I want to learn it myself. So let us know exactly where they can reach out to you to get more information.
Yeah, they go to integratedalliances.com. That's easy. Integrated, easy word. Integrated alliances, 2 easy words. Put them together, you get there. And when you go to the website, you can schedule a 30-minute call if you like. Actually, I think it's a 20, 25, 30-minute call. Short call with me right on the site. We'll go as long as we need. We've also got lots of freebies there. So Terry's got a video on downloading the your LinkedIn connections and stuff, and that's a really good one. One really good one that I've got on my site, so I'll only poke at one of them, is in my blog. I have two blogs that are good. One of them is particularly good for this audience. One is how to submit a trouble ticket.
Remember the old days, you could submit a trouble ticket and then no one would ever get back to you, like ever.
Well, there's stuff in submitting a trouble ticket, and it's got special stuff for Sales Navigator people in it, because there's a separate trouble ticketing system for Sales Navigator. And if you didn't know that, you'd be barking up the wrong tree all the time and going like, they never answer my call. Well, there's a dedicated group for you, sir. Terry, you got to go that way.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Right? Or you can go to LinkedIn Help on Twitter. At LinkedIn Help on Twitter. And particularly if you're not getting satisfaction with your trouble ticket part out there, grab the ticket number and let the folks at LinkedIn Help run with it. Say, I'm not not satisfied, or I've got some reason or so. They love screenshots. And you have to be very explicit in what you want them to do, because on the other side, they're on a help desk and they're looking for the first canned answer they can find. Oh, it said something about floppy disks. I'll grab the floppy disk answer and shove it down their throat. That kind of thing, okay? Did you try a different browser? Did you do your cookies? All that kind of stuff. So those are things to think about. If you know that LinkedIn's going to ask you, did you try deleting your cookies and stuff, you might try that before you submit a trouble ticket, because they are going to ask, and sometimes that does help. Mm-hmm. The other one I have is a list of the LinkedIn industries. You can no longer on LinkedIn.com see the list of LinkedIn industries anymore. I've got a nice alphabetical list of industries, so you can print it out and kind of like the technology industries are at the top. You got computer hardware, software, networking, but you got wireless at the bottom. You got telecom near the bottom. You got information technology, 2 of them in the middle and stuff. Mm-hmm. When you're doing this sort of stuff, especially with Sales Navigator, where you can be really granular and stuff, that list of industries is really good to have for planning. But the downloading, that's a good one, Terry. That's a really good one to have, that downloading all your stuff there. And that gets updated over time. Do you know why they do that email thing now? That they used to just download right there. Do you know why they moved it to where it goes via email?
No.
Think about it. Think about a hack. someone hacks into your account, Terry, they can't download your data anymore.
That's good.
That comes in an email that only you get, unless they got access to your email as well.
That makes perfect sense.
So that's where that came from, Terry.
Do you know AJ Wilcox, Mike? AJ does a lot of LinkedIn advertising. I think he might be a really good conversation for you. You guys could form a really nice partnership.
Sure, buddy.
Yeah, he was on our show, Terry.
102.
102. See, he's just like got these numbers now. Show 102. You got to, yeah, he's definitely.
I'm so proud of the two of you with your show. Lori Ruff and I did over 200 episodes on webmasterradio.fm.
Wow.
Over 200. And we had folks come back two, 3 times, and they come back, they'd be at a new company.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
And they'd have new information, and time goes on. And I mean, this episode's so different than the first episode. And I mean, we were talking about it the first time. You were like 3 weeks into it. I mean, it was really brand new, and you brought so much knowledge and information, and it pales in comparison to what you just delivered today. I feel bad telling people I teach LinkedIn after listening to you.
Well, you teach the basic. He went to
right.
the
It's like
I just did a 3/4 day workshop. It went from it had a 10 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and 3 o'clock sessions, and they're not the same. You know, more advanced each one. 90 minutes, 90 minutes, 90 minutes, and I really need more time. Yeah. I really need more time.
You know what? You guys, I mean, I don't focus on LinkedIn, so it's kind of crazy to me that just, you know, it makes sense though that we all need to specialize in. I can't learn all that LinkedIn stuff because, I mean, if you guys only knew how deep I knew the Facebook stuff, I mean, you know, so it just, they just all go so incredibly deep. I don't think people realize how much power each different platform actually has.
And Sales Navigator just brings a whole nother level of everything to it, because you still got to be an expert in all the LinkedIn stuff over there.
Sure.
Now you got to add all this extra stuff. And there's all these little, if you change this, that affects something over here. There's so many little interdependent things out there. And they just in the last few weeks revamped with new profiles on LinkedIn, new profiles on Sales Navigator, new company pages on both. And I'll share something. No one in the world knows this now. You can no longer see at all on LinkedIn someone's industry. On Sales Navigator, it's gone now. It was gone on LinkedIn a year and a half ago. It's now gone on Sales Navigator as well. So you search on these industries and stuff, you can't see it. You're asked for an industry, it's a required field, but you can't see it. You can see the industries that company pages have. And people will say, oh, no, I see it. No, that's the company page, not the person. So that's still around. But, you know, just like they did a year and a half ago, they took features away, and some people didn't even notice. You know, I didn't notice the codes were gone. I didn't notice I couldn't search on current job titles. And over time, they eventually maybe find some of that out, or it just wasn't important enough to them.
Right. Well, I mean, and there's still a large part of the audience that set up a LinkedIn profile and, okay, I'm done. Right? Because they still think of it's a resume database. Dude, LinkedIn is the biggest power tool on the planet. Right? If you're in business, right? It's not necessarily great from a consumer perspective, but for a B2B play, why you'd spend time anywhere else is shocking to me. So.
Well, I do play on the other platforms, but for different reasons. And Janet and I both play on the Facebook platform. I don't play. She's professional. I play on it.
Right.
She's a pro on it. But I engage with you. I'm connected with you on Facebook. You know, I see things going on, but it's my LinkedIn people, and I'm seeing the personal side of them on Facebook.
Sure.
Everyone I care about on Facebook, I've connected to on LinkedIn as well. It's just I get to see the weekend side of them.
Right. The 360
the Monday
degrees.
Through Friday side over here on LinkedIn. And in both cases, I have to delete to add. There's a lot of, I found the best way to delete people on Facebook if you get full. Janet, how would you handle deleting people? Let's say you're at 5,000 friends on Facebook, and every week more people want to be friends. How would you delete people?
I would just start going through my feed and seeing what they're posting. If they show up, I go, because you know
don't
what?
want to delete people that are posting. You want to delete people that are not posting.
The most recent. If you do it by most recent, then you're going to see the different people. Honestly, I've held back. I'm only at 3,500 because I stopped accepting. I had a VA go through thousands and just delete everybody because of requests. Because if I haven't met you, I see it. If I know you and already, then I see it. But otherwise, you know what? So I don't have to worry about it for a while because I was very careful after about that 3,000 mark. I'm like, why am I friending everyone? So that's a whole nother conversation. But yeah,
we should have that.
I'm not friending everyone. I'm still full, and I'm full with really good people. And I know they're really good people because this is my technique for deleting people. And
all right, let's do that, and then we got to end on that. Perfect.
Okay, it was Joel Comm and his sort of folks that, that helped me with. Okay, you go to birthdays.
I have heard that one. Mm-hmm.
Got to do it on birthdays. Otherwise, if you do it on friends, you see your best friends on top. You want number 4,999, and you got to, how far down are you going to go to go find them?
Yep.
I would still be here an hour from now, and we'd only be halfway there, right? You got to do it on birthdays because everyone, and if they don't have a birthday in, you can't hit those people. And I don't think birthday is a required field.
I use that as criteria to delete people from time to time. If they pop up on the day it's their birthday, and I'm like, man, if I don't think enough of you to even hit the say happy birthday button, you're just gone.
Well, I can usually find 5 or 8 people. I go every three days or so, 2-3 days. I can usually find 5 to 8 people to delete people that I didn't know. That in the early days, I was connecting to everyone, kind of like
I know. We all did. You know what? There was no business pages back then, so I mean that's the key. Well, we have gone over, but this was so good. It was great information, and I really think any business that is needs to go deeper with, like you said, in sales, looking at the sales numbers, needs to go deeper with LinkedIn. They have to listen to this, and if it's over their head, then they need to reach out to Mike O'Neill give them your website one more time.
IntegratedAlliances.com.
Perfect. And don't friend him on Facebook. No, just kidding.
He's just going to delete you anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And then our group is businessgrowthtime.xyz. That takes you right to our Facebook group. And we also have a lot of past great shows. We just talked about one where we teach LinkedIn ads also in the advertising side of things. So you can find all those at businessgrowthtime.com/podcast. So thank you guys for joining us. Thank you so much, Mike, for coming on.
Great time.
Awesome being with you both. Really fun.